Hello and welcome. Today we've got a very special Tales of Aria pre-release, or rather sealed deck building video. We're going to be running through a sealed pool of 6 booster packs of the exciting new Tales of Aria set, talking about all the different heroes, the different elements, the different mechanics in the set, how to analyze a pool, and how to think about your deck building process. So let's dive straight in. We've got 6 packs of first edition Tales of Aria here. So hoping to hit something fun, in addition to something good for sealed. So the way that I like to divide these cards out, ice, earth, and lightning off to this side, elemental cards above, because many of them will relate to the elements or the classes, but the generics, if you like Invigorate, which doesn't relate to any particular elemental fusion, it's just an elemental card, is basically just a generic in this set, because all the heroes are elemental, so they can play them. So we've got ice, earth, and lightning cards, and of course it's really important to note how many of these actual element cards you have, because they're the ones that you need to use to fuse, and they're the ones that come at the front of the booster pack. We've got a rare Turn Timber, and we had a rare Summerwood Shelter, and then we've got our foil Polar Blast. And unfortunately, the amulets sit in the same spot in the packs as the equipment. So in pack number 1, we've missed out on an equipment, but we've got an Amulet of Earth, which is not a bad one. A couple of Guardian cards, a Yellow Frazzle's a nice one, Bramble Spark's a nice one. And of course, we've got the 3 heroes here. We've got Lexi's Ranger cards off to this side, oops, slightly off camera. Ranger cards, Guardian cards, and the Runeblade cards. So pack number 1, nothing extremely powerful. The 2 rares, Summerwood Shelter is kind of a below average rare, although the red version does help you to avoid dominated attacks. And then we had, what was our other rare? The Turn Timber, which again, probably a below average Guardian rare. So we've got an Entwine Earth, which is an elemental card, but it has Earth Fusion, so we'll put it with the Earth cards there. Although, red Entwine Earth, totally playable as a 2 for 6, even without having the fusion option in your deck. Winter's Bite. So that Winter's Bite is an interesting one. It can be okay in a kind of slower Fatigue Oldhim deck. It can be okay as well in a Lexi deck, although a bit less so. But yeah, not my favorite of the ice cards. I think I prefer some of the others. But if you are going to have a Winter's Bite, a red does work pretty well, at least forcing that card out of their hand, because making them discard is always better than making them pitch, particularly in limited, particularly if you're Oldhim and you're looking at potential fatigue. And there are some times when they're not going to have a blue to pitch to this red Winter's Bite, so they're actually going to have to discard instead. Or pitch 2 cards, which would be an amazing result. So Snapshot as a rare there. Blue Snapshot, though, not the most powerful. And a Lightning Press is the other rare, which is a really, really nice lightning card. It works well in both Briar and Lexi, but particularly in Lexi, where you can reveal it to a fusion, arsenal it. The following turn, you can turn it face up, give something go again, and then pump it with the Lightning Press. It's a really, really strong, it leads to some really strong play patterns. Burgeoning similarly, this is a yellow, so it's okay, but can be used to fuse and then arsenal, and then you get the bonus. If you whoa, too busy talking about burgeoning and didn't notice the cold foil. It's not a legendary, but Sutcliffe's Suede Hides, that's a nice cold foil. Looks good at least. So we'll put that there in the, I might put it in a sleeve. Put it in the Elemental Runeblade section. Got these nice all encapsulating inner sleeves. I know some people don't like putting their cold foils in inner sleeves if they want to send them off for grading, but I don't think I'm going to get a cold foil common graded. Not that I have any graded cards. But at least this will protect it a little bit from unnecessary damage. So there we go. So cold foil Sutcliffe's Suede Hides, a red Mulch, which is a nice one, a red Blizzard Bolt, red Arcanic Shockwave, a blue Glacial Footsteps, again a nice one, because you want blues that hit hard and you want reds that hit hard as well in Oldhim. And Glacial Footsteps, a good resource early because it's a blue, you can pitch it. Later on you can set up a pretty big attack for 8. Dazzling Crescendo Blue, not really where we want to be at, but a Singeing Steelblade Red certainly can get the job done. So 2 packs in, hit a cold foil, which is nice, but not the most powerful pull so far. No, pulls tend not to look supremely powerful after 2 packs though, but we have hit some good reds. Entwine Ice red is the best of those, because the blue Entwine Ice has Dominate, but it gets Dominate as its bonus if you fuse, but it's only 3 power, so it's not very strong, whereas Dominate on a 5 power attack is actually relevant. So that's one where the red is significantly better than the others. Frostfang is a really nice ice card, a lot of threat for a 5 power attack in either Oldhim or Lexi, and yeah, 5 damage plus the ability to make them discard a card unless they pay is really nice. A Blink, certainly a nice lightning card, can enable some go wide turns in Briar or Lexi, and Autumn's Touch, not a bad Earth card there, particularly good in Oldhim because it's a blue. We've got the Oldhim Shield, which is always nice if we do end up playing Oldhim. Entangle, Chilling Ice Vein, Stir the Wildwood Red, one of the most powerful Briar cards. We've got a lot of reds here in Briar, which is good. Like a lot of the more important or impactful cards we're seeing in red, and then things like Bramble Spark in blue, totally fine. Because often the pump is not necessarily the most important part of that card. And of course, you know, it's nice to be able to play cold foils, so we might end up with Briar in this pool. 2 Invigorates too. Briar has a lot of fused attacks, I mean, so does Lexi. So those Invigorates are probably best in Briar and Lexi, I would say. Although, you know, for Oldhim, pumping an attack to be a big dominated attack, also good. So we've got a couple of lightning cards. No, one's Entwine Lightning. A couple of ice cards, Winter's Grasp and Polar Blast. A nice blue Thump. Good resource, good to come in late with Dominate to get the last couple of damage in if you need to. And a Weave Ice, which is a really, really nice ice card. The ability to both pump and give Dominate to an attack that's fused. Really nice in Lexi, but probably even better in Oldhim, I'd say. And this is a yellow, which is nice. You can pitch it to Oldhim's ability early if you want, and then get it back later for a big hit. Explosive Growth, also a nice rare, but blue, probably not the best. And again, a blue Inspire Lightning, probably not the best, but we need some resources in the Briar deck, so I don't mind playing a blue Inspire Lightning. And speaking of blue, Deep Blue, a very nice generic equipment. We'll put that over there. Strength of Sequoia, not my favorite card. Flake Out, again, it's okay. Another blue Thump, don't mind for finishing off the game. And a red Right Zero Replenishment, which is really nice. So we've got a lot of really nice red Briar cards. And when you've got something like Blink that's giving you Go Again, as well as, you know, things like Ball Lightning that can ping really nicely off the arcane damage, it does mean that our lightning card pool that we've got here, still with 2 packs to go, is looking pretty good for Briar. Weave Ice is really nice, but a lot of the other ice stuff we've got there is not my favorite of the ice cards. Frostfang as well. So the 2 rares are nice, but not the best of the ice commons. Red Autumn's Touch, a nice finisher in either of the Earth Heroes. Red Shock Striker, similarly. Blue Rejuvenate, a bit of a garbage card. Put that over here. Bramble Spark, Weave Lightning. Very, very nice. Good pump. Good to get your key attacks through in either Lexi or Briar. Biting Gale, very, very powerful defense reaction. A Yellow Ball Lightning again, so double Yellow Ball Lightning. Another Sutcliffe Suede Hides, doubling up on the equipment. And a few... Blue Mulch, really nice one to see. Again, happy to have the reds and happy to have the blues for different phases of the game. Overflex, quite a useful Lexi card. Arcanic Shockwave, totally happy to have that as a resource that comes back later and pings in for 1 arcane damage if you fuse it. So 1 pack to go, and look at how many Runeblade cards we've got, significantly outnumbering the others, or slightly outnumbering the others. Got plenty of Oldhim cards as well. A little bit short on Lexi, but we've got so many Lightning cards that I think we're going to end up Briar this time. Plus we've got these 2 Invigorates, the red and the yellow, which are going to work really nicely in the Briar strategy. And don't mind this Entwine Earth too, as a red. So a Break Ground, another Yellow Ball Lightning, Burgeoning, and Entwine Earth, a yellow this time. a yellow burgeoning, a weave earth, which is really, really nice, getting us some more pump, off an earth card as well. And we've got a yellow lightning press here again. So a foil, a cold wave, a Ragamuffins hat, which you might laugh at, but it can actually come in really handy. So that last card which you've got, which you're considering arsenaling after you've fused with it, if it's not the right card to put in your arsenal, you can actually destroy the Ragamuffins hat, potentially get your fusion card or the card you were fusing with that turn onto the bottom of your deck for reusing later, and getting a more powerful proactive arsenal. So Ragamuffins hat, definitely one worth thinking about. Plus also you can just sometimes dig for extra resources if you've got a red left in hand, but you need a blue. Glacial Footsteps, again, more powerful attacks there. A Stir the Wildwood, happy to see that, considering we're leaning towards Briar. A Chilling Ice Vein, and a blue Singeing Steelblade. So I think we'll start off, we did pick up a couple of red arrows in that last pack, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get us there with this Lexi pool. Let's just have a quick look. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 arrows, which is just a little bit short of where we want to be. I think you want to be on 15 to 20 with no other weapon. And the fact that like some of these arrows are things like Blue Dazzling Crescendo just doesn't give me the confidence that we're going to be able to close out the game with that. And the fact that we've only got the one blue Icy encounter and the one Frost Fang means that the rest of our ice cards are not really proactive cards. They're going to help us to win the game. So I'm going to put Ice and Ranger to one side for the moment, including this Entwine Ice. We're going to keep these cards here. We'll put the Rejuvenate aside. Blue Rejuvenate, not a card I would advise playing very often. And then we're going to get out the Earth, Lightning, and Briar cards. I'm going to put aside these Oldham cards. I mean, we've got a decent pool with a couple of Glacial Footsteps, a blue and a yellow, a couple of Thumps, a couple of Entangles, and a couple of Mulches. So, you know, a few of all of the attacks, and one Snow Under, but just nothing really super powerful. And again, the ice cards not being so proactive, that's not such a problem for Oldham, but Oldham does sometimes struggle to close out the game as well. And I don't think this pool is really going to get us there. So unfortunate, because I really do enjoy Lexi and Oldham, and I know a lot of people kind of say, you know, Briar's a bit overpowered. I don't agree. Like, I think all the heroes are good in this format, but we've just been handed a pool that's perfect for Briar here. So let's just put our elemental cards to one side for a moment, because we're probably going to play all of those. We might not play the yellow Entwine Lightning. We're going to play both of those equipment, and we're going to play this Cold Foil Sutcliffe Suede Ides. So we're 3 pieces of equipment, all of which are decent. Sutcliffe Suede Hides is actually pretty important for enabling you to get basically an extra Rosetta Thorn swing in on a key turn most of the time, or a second attack action sometimes as well. So sorry about the glare there on that right hand side. I might actually just swap this over to avoid some of that glare. So let's go through the Earth cards first. So we've got a Weave Earth. I think the blue Burgeoning, we might miss out on that. We'll probably keep the blue Break Ground, because I think it can be a little bit better in terms of recurring things. The blue Autumn's Touch, yeah, blue Autumn's Touch, blue Burgeoning, we'll just keep thinking about those as when they need them. Earthlaw Surge is nice. Yellow Burgeoning, I think, is a bit better, hits a bit harder. And maybe the blue So Tomorrow, because it is a nice resource. Summerwood Shelter, probably sideboard against non-Briar decks. So we'll put our 3 maybes up here. On the lightning side of things, Lightning Presses in, Ball Lightnings are in, Weave Lightning, Shock Striker, all nice cards. Blink gives us that extra action point, which we often need in Briar. Heaven's Claws is just a totally serviceable attack. Lightning Surge can be the start of a turn that involves a Rosetta Thorn attack, so I do quite like that. It's got good play patterns. It's good for fuse the turn before, arsenal it, attack with it the following turn after a non-attack action, and then you've got the action point remaining to come in with Rosetta Thorn. Lightning Press, as I mentioned, particularly nice in Lexi, but still fine in Briar. As an arsenal card to help you get over the top. Another red shock striker, so we're doubling up there. So we are looking a bit heavier on the strong lightning cards with so many rares compared to, and 3 ball lightnings compared to the earth cards. But that's fine. The earth cards give us a bit more by way of defense as well. So we can think that through. Although Heaven's Claws is a nice one because it does block for 3. Electrify. Again, another one that can be really helpful when we look at Briar's hero ability. Where's a Briar here? There's an adult Briar, but whenever you play your second non-attack action in a turn, you get to create an embodiment of lightning, giving you go again. So having more things like Electrify, non-attack action, has go again, gives you a card back when it comes from Arsenal, can be really nice for enabling that embodiment of lightning play, which again is another way you can bring your Rosetta Thorn into your turns. Singeing Steelblade Blue is probably one we'll consider not playing, especially because we've got quite a few blues here on the elemental side of things. We don't really need to play class cards that are basically just resources, though Singeing Steelblade does ping for 1. I think Arcanic Shockwave is just a little bit better. It has the fusion requirement, but it doesn't cost a resource. They're largely similar cards, so we'll kind of consider them a bit interchangeable. Inspire Lightning is a good resource early, a good finisher, particularly with the volume of of lightning cards that we have. The duplicate Sutcliffe's Suede Hides we don't need. The Bramble Spark, Rites of Replenishment's in, Veil Flash is in. The blue Inspire Lightning we'll think about. Blue Explosive Growth is still nice as a potential way to pump our cards for the whole combat chain. Pump our attacks. We've got another Stir the Wildwood, just a really important card in these Briar decks for getting max damage in and smashing hard. We'll take the red Steel Blade, the red Shockwave. I think we'll take the blue Velaflash as just a really powerful card with the number of lightning fusion we have. Being able to play a non-attack action card as though it was an instant is a great way for us to get an action point back for free as well. So happy to play that at blue, as well as happy to play Bramble Spark. So we'll just take a quick look. I think we will play the Entwine Lightning, again, a way to get Rosetta Thorn functioning more frequently on our turns. Invigorate, great to have as a non-attack action. Both red and yellow pretty powerful, and we do have quite a few fuses here. Although perhaps it is worth just making sure that we have enough fuses. So with these 3, it probably takes us over the edge to having enough, but we do have a lot of non-attack actions here, which is one thing I want to check. So 1, 2 non-attack actions, attack action, non-fusing attack action. Because this will only affect attacks that are fused. So Bramble Spark won't help us at all in terms of actually getting value out of our Invigorates. Stir the Wildwood fuses, Explosive Growth fuses, Veil Flash Rites, Inspire Lightning, no. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 attacks that are going to fuse. I think that's enough for these to work. So yeah, let's go with that. We'll play the Invigorates. Let's just count up our cards. So the Singeing Steelblade is in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. So 40 playables there, and that's without a few Earths. We do have quite a lot of Earth Fusion cards. So I definitely... I consider those 2 maybes. I consider this as a sideboard card. I wouldn't play these 2 as resources. Just because I don't think we need it. I think we have enough blues dotted throughout the different categories of the deck, particularly if we include those 2 earths, and I'd rather have element cards rather than elemental cards, so cards that we can use to fuse. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. You could certainly make a couple of cuts, and you could trim some of the less powerful cards out of this. You know, you could trim these, you could trim... perhaps the Blue Heaven's Claws, for example. But having more cards in the deck, particularly when we have so much go again, so many pumps, like a really nice balance of attacks and non-attacks and instants, I'd just be happy to pretty much play this whole thing. We could have a look at exactly how many resources we've got, but I think I'm seeing quite a lot of yellows, quite a lot of blues scattered throughout here, perhaps 1 or 2 blues short, so we might actually end up just playing these. But certainly some reds in key attacks. You know, we're going to have a lot of hands where we're going to be able to either start or finish with something red from here, or something red here. Shock Strikers that are red, Autumn's Touches that's red, or Autumn's Touch that's red, red Stir the Wildwood, red Rights, red Singeing Steelblade, red Shockwave. There's plenty of attack power there, and we've got enough resources that we're going to be able to be doing multiple things on our turn, which is what this volume of lightning cards is going to allow us to do. A yellow is going to be enough on a lot of these turns to be able to go things like, you know, Invigorate into Ball Lightning, into a Fuse attack, potentially then into Rosetta Thorn. So I feel like there's plenty of power, plenty of arcane damage, and this would certainly be one that I'd be happy to take to an event. So thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, let us know in the comments. If you've been enjoying Tales or you've got any Tales of your own, let us know. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed the video and we'll see you next time. Cheers.